Every human mind has the capacity to store the equivalent of 7,550 volumes of Encyclopedia Britannica. Every human mind, not just brilliant people, but everybody. You have the power to use this capacity to achieve the highest, the most excellent, and the most innovative life. And this program is about that. It is about transformation. Transformation is what happens to a drop of water when it is touched by the magic of sunlight and it blazes forth into a rainbow. It is what happens to a caterpillar when it becomes a butterfly. It is, of course, what happens to a seed which is planted and grown and becomes a mighty banyan tree to bring forth millions of seeds. Transformation and innovation are on the same page. Innovation can be systematic. Creativity can be on demand. And this is what we're going to discuss today. If you consider the process of creativity being transformed into the action of innovation, you will see several parts in the process. The first is stating the problem and understanding the problem, generating ideas. It is then handed over to your subconscious to incubate, and then we analyze the ideas we have received, and finally we draw up an implementation plan and understand what is the outcome and measure the outcome. I would like to give you a few ideas about the thinking tools which will assist you in this process. Thinking tools are formulae or the mathematics of innovation. You can understand mathematics by using a process to think out of the box, not depending on inspiration, not depending on your mood at that time, but entirely process-based. Imagine that you want to draw a revolutionary chair, a chair which is unlike any other chair in the world. So how do we do this? We use a tool called attribute matching. Attribute matching is when we take something completely unconnected with a chair and then identify the attributes of that object. Let's say a fan. A fan is on the ceiling. A fan rotates. A fan is controlled from a distance. A fan has electricity to power it. A fan has 4 blades. So imagine applying this to a chair. So you have a chair which rotates, a chair which is controlled from a distance, a chair which is powered by electricity, not an electric chair, but a chair which can probably help you use your computer and so on. Maybe it has a fan on it. A chair with, maybe you can think of a family chair with 4 blades. I said this to a student and he said, no adults are allowed unless we allow. Unless they're passed by the kids, no adults are allowed to sit on this chair. And you have a chair rising to the ceiling, turning upside down, moving across the room. So this is just the first bit. You keep on working on this chair and you'd have an extraordinary chair. Attribute matching. And yesterday I was working with a group of students and I said, why don't we build a house which is like a dog? And she built a beautiful house. And instead of eyes, it had cameras. And then the tail, it had a, very fluffy kind of rope which could be used to pull the house. So a movable house, a house which could jump and run and play, and a house with ears which could hear everything that's happening there. See, these are just germinal ideas. If you work on a house which is fun, a house which can go anywhere, then in between we thought perhaps a house which is a tent. So there are a number of tools which we'll work on together, like attribute matching, like tent thinking versus marble palace thinking. A long time ago, a writer called Alvin Toffler in the 70s wrote about the possibility of people working from their homes. He said during the Industrial Revolution, people were dragged from their homes and sacrificed on the altar of technology. Unwilling victims sacrificed on the altar of technology. Today, the whole process has become faster, accelerated because of COVID-19. The process of coming back home, working from the house, has become almost something you cannot avoid. Work from anywhere, work from an aeroplane, work from a garden, work from a coffee shop, work from a holiday resort. The depth of place, the place where you work doesn't seem to matter anymore. It's just whether you have connectivity or not. And so imagine re-engineering the work from home, because now work from home is very inconvenient because our homes were not built for the electronic cottage, which Alvin Toffler spoke about. So perhaps you get together and create a home which is absolutely right to work from. Similarly, perhaps today everybody wants every home to be a classroom and a school, and it is not. It was not designed to be a school. It was not designed to be a place of fun and frolic like a school. So now we have to put our minds together and take ideas, attributes from the school and bring it into the house. I'm sure it's possible. Imagine a house which is as much fun as a school and as convenient as a school, and a place where nobody will disturb you. Not parents, not grandparents, not anybody else doing their own work from the house. So this is an opportunity for you to take ideas from a school, the best, most revolutionary school, and apply it to the house and create an electronic school in your house. There are a number of tools like this. There are two types of tools. There are imaging tools and mapping tools. Mapping tools merely give you the geography of a problem. They tell you the outline of a problem. An example of a mapping tool is PMI. You take a sheet of paper and write plus, draw a line, minus, interesting, plus, minus, interesting, and ask everybody around you to give their opinion on what are the pluses of having school from home, what are the minuses of having school at home, and what is interesting. And then all you need to do is retain the pluses, reduce the minuses or improve the minuses to become less troublesome, and then the interesting factors you use it to build upon. I want you to go back and think about how you can use these two tools, attribute matching and PMI, to your present problems. So first, remember, state your problem. What is the problem you have which you would like to solve? And state it in the form of a question. Like it should be, how can I, and whatever you want. Okay, so state it in the form of a question. It's very difficult sometimes to identify the problem. You know, when I first started working on innovation, I worked with a group of mothers, and all of them said, we want our son to eat eggs for breakfast. Of course, this was a very clumsy problem statement, because what she really wanted was not her son to eat eggs for breakfast. What she really wanted was her son to eat a nutritious breakfast, to get a nutritious breakfast, which could have covered a variety of different foods, ranging from Kellogg's to idli dosa to bread butter jam. So many things, possibilities are there once you stop being obsessed with the idea of eggs, because obviously she was not running an egg farm or anything. She just wanted her son to have an easy, nutritious breakfast. And so when you restated the problem, how to get my son to have a nutritious breakfast, the whole path to problem solving was completely changed. I'll give you another example. When stating your problem, there should be perfect clarity. There is that famous saying, build a better mousetrap and the world will beat its way to your doorstep. meaning that if you build a better mousetrap, you're going to get rid of mice. But this is a very clumsy problem statement. You cannot get rid of mice by building a better mousetrap. You can catch one mouse at a time, maybe a few mice. But if you were to restate the problem as how to keep mice out of my environment, you would have a variety of solutions, great number of solutions ranging from poison to gas to a Lakshman Rekha. Variety of possibilities would be there. And so you state your problem, generate ideas, and then we incubate. Forget the problem and hand it over to your subconscious. Your subconscious is the computer which stores everything that you've thought or seen or felt or experienced. Everything flows into this vast computer. And when you hand it over to your subconscious, you access all these things. And if you look at the moment of discovery, the aha moment, you will find that it often happens when people are not really thinking. Look at Newton sitting under a tree and lazily watching an apple fall. He was not playing with his computer. He was not talking on the phone. He was just lying on a grassy bed under a apple tree and watching the apple fall. Archimedes, the very same thing. He was having a bath, and at that moment, when the bath water began to overflow, he realized and understood the laws of displacement. And it is said he was so excited that he ran through the streets of Syracuse screaming, "Eureka, Eureka!" And of course, all of us know that there are things when you wake up from a deep sleep, sometimes you just find the solution. But see, if we were sitting under a tree or having a bath, I doubt whether we would have discovered these laws, because the discovery, the moment of inspiration happens because of the prepared mind, because of extraordinary information, knowledge, and understanding of the problem. People had spent their whole lives thinking about something. Then suddenly, when they're not thinking, the spark of inspiration strikes. So first prepare, learn, understand, talk about it, be obsessed with the idea for some time, then hand it over to your subconscious. And finally, start to analyze. Look at what is the outcome you want. Consider what should happen after you carry out these solutions. And then come up with a number of parameters against which you can analyze your solutions. It could be money, it could be time, it could be aesthetics. Like if you were choosing paintings for a grand exhibition where paintings were to be auctioned, obviously you would not worry about time. You would choose the best. You would take aesthetics would be the most important thing. If you were looking at the problem of a riot, you would consider human lives the most important thing. It would not be time, it would not be money. So consider the parameters against which you would like to judge the solution. Pick up the solutions you want to implement, and then we go on to the implementation plan. The implementation plan would have a 5W1H. 5W1H is nothing but when, what, when will you do it? Next 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 5 years? What would you do in each of these time periods? And then a gatekeeper question. Even now you can back off. You ask, why am I doing this? What do I want out of this? What is the outcome I want? And if you don't feel you'll get the outcome, don't do it. When, what, why, where? Where will you do it? In your house, in the homes of 20 of your friends, in one city, in 10 cities? Where? How will you do it? How will you do it? And this is the resource map. And a plan of action will flow out of the how. How is men, materials, machines, methods, markets, and money? What are all the 6 elements you need to plan how to do it? So look at each of these elements and work out a written plan how you're going to make sure you get all these resources together and plan the exact path you're going to take, and then finally who's going to do it. This is very important because anything that happens in a team, it's very important to know who's going to do it. Because if everybody is going to do it, guess what? Nobody is going to do it. And so I welcome you all to the first step towards a life of innovation, a life of self-actualization. It was Maslow who spoke about self-actualization, the journey to become the person God created you to be. Welcome to Minds Power Innovation.